Hey everyone, very good morning. I hope all of you are doing good. Before I proceed further, can you quickly confirm, can all of you see my screen and hear my voice properly? I'm live in Discord and as well as in YouTube. So you can use the live chat option to interact with me in YouTube, and you can interact with me using the chat option available in Discord as well. All right. So a quick confirmation, can all of you see my screen and hear my voice clearly? Okay, thank you. Thank you for confirmation. So once again, welcome back to yet another interesting session on live analysis of Nifty and Bank Nifty, powered by True Data and Bookmap chart. So we're going to discuss about so many things in the live market. But before I proceed further, I have an instruction that whenever I ask a question, whenever I ask you to interact, please do interact with me using the chat option. So that will help me to, that will help me to understand that you are listening to me and you are understanding what I'm telling. All right. So a quick disclaimer: the information that I'm going to share on this video is for educational purpose only. It is not for any buy or sell recommendation. Any investment decision in stock market are subject to market risk. So let's quickly get into the subject. So first of all, when it comes to the overall subject, all right, so before we directly jump into the Bookmap, we go through the process or a framework. All right, so it's basically like I call it as a TLE framework. All right, so for those who don't know about this, T means a trend. All right, in simple words, in which way the market is trying to move, whether it is in uptrend or whether it is in downtrend or is it in sideways. Why it is important to identify the trend is that if you don't know primarily where the market is trying to primarily where the market is trying to move, so we will end up with unnecessary trades. That's why the first step is to identify in terms of the overall price historically at the present moment where the price is heading. So how we can identify it? Very simple, the price action information itself. So if the market is making higher highs and higher lows, okay, so for example in this case, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. So until when this particular pattern persists in the market, then we can call it as an uptrend. All right, and similarly if the market is moving in the lower low and lower high format, okay, lower lows and lower highs, then we can call it as a downtrend. And similarly, if the market is going nowhere, if it is staying in sideways kind of market, then we can call it as a sideways or a choppy market. So once we identify the trend, all it takes us for us to identify with respect to the align with the trend. All right, so for example, let's say you identified the trend as uptrend. Either you can look for the break of last swing, or you can also pull back. You can also look for the pullback entries, like whenever it pullbacks to the last support, then you can also look for entries. That's why identifying the primary trend is absolutely important. So in that step, we're going to identify the trend in the first step, and second one is L. L means location. All right, in which location are we trying to enter, or in which way, or in which location we are trying to exit. In simple words, it's nothing but the immediate support and resistances. For example, since we are trading it very short term, then we can identify the previous day high. For example, let's say in this case, this was the previous day high, this was the previous day low. Previous day high, previous day low is very important. So, and next thing is IB high and IB low. What I mean to say is nothing but the first 1 hour high, first 1 hour low. That is for immediate day. And if there is any major support and major resistance, for example, in this case, this is the major support for Nifty at around 18,550. Why this is important is that we don't take decisions. First thing, we identify the trend, and second thing, we don't take decisions randomly. We take decisions at a specific price levels, and that's what helps us to chop out the unnecessary trades. That's very important. That's why we identify the second step, which is location identification, nothing but support and resistance identification. And the final step, that is where the main core part comes in. That's where we are going to use the Bookmap charts in order to get into the trade and get out of the trade. For both, there are so many indicators involved in it, so I'll be explaining each one of them when it comes to the overall Bookmap charts. All right, if this is very clear to you, then we can move on to the next step. All right. So first thing is to identify the trend. We can clearly see. Okay, so let me zoom out a bit and show you. If you just look at the broader picture, okay, so from this point onwards, okay, this is where the last major low we have seen 16,800, and after that market is continuously trending in the upward direction, which is a good thing. But there will be a little bit corrections in between, so market will not move in a straight 45-degree line. As you can see, there was a correction over here and there was a correction over here and here, and correction is a healthier part of the entire trend, and that's what exactly we are trying to that's what we are trying, that's what we are presently seeing in the market. So there is one more correction in the overall uptrend. So even though broader picture is suggesting that there is a major uptrend in the overall market, at the present moment there is a bearish bias, or we can say the downtrend is, in terms of the overall correction, downtrend is going on. All right, at the present moment. So with respect to that, this level is going to play the very critical role. Let me mark that. This is where 18,560. A healthy correction can happen till this particular level. If at any given point of time, if the market try to sustain below this particular level, then there is a little bit of concern in terms of the overall bearish trend. So definitely we can expect market to trend below this particular level. So for today's market, all right, market is presently here. We have a room till this particular level. That's what we can encash for today's market. So basically we can look for a short entry by targeting 18,565. And most important point over here is that if you just observe the initial our price action, okay, so let me zoom in a bit. As you can see over here that from the market open itself, I am showing the Nifty 30-minute chart. From the market open itself, market opened here and there was a buying presence. How I am saying that there is a wick in the first candle, 30-minute candle, but that was clearly negated, and again price started continuing in the existing trend. And as per our concept, price action concept, we can clearly see that the presently market is forming lower lows and lower highs. So even though broader picture suggests there is a long trend, or there is a uptrend, at the present moment, at the correction wise, there is a short term shorting opportunity for us, and there is still a room till this particular action. And one more point I want to add up here, that at the present moment, okay, at the present moment market is trading at previous day low. This is a make or break level, we can say, for today's trading. If at all market price sustains, and if market rejects from this level, and if it start to sustain above previous day low, that is this particular level, let me mark that as well, somewhere around here, 18,760. all right, if price sustains above this particular level again by rejecting the lower levels, then the complete analysis of short term the possibility of market reversals in the upward direction, again continuation of the uptrend, is quite high. But until unless price sustains below this price level, all right, this is a very critical information. I am saying sustain, okay, that means I want price to be accepted below this particular level, previous day low. Until when that happens, we can look for shorting opportunities. If this is very clear to you, so this is what we are setting up the context here. So basically market's broader picture, it is trending the upward direction, but at the present moment it is in a correction mode. We can expect a correction till this particular level. And one more point, it has to sustain below this particular price level. Until that point, we can look for shorting opportunities. Once this is clear to you, then comes, we have also identified the second step. We have identified the critical levels for today's market. And of course, this is also one of the important level. Let me mark that as well. So today's high, which is at 18,840, 838 to be precise. So around 840 roughly. So that is also one of the critical level. All right, so once this is done, we have to look for a trading opportunity. So now we are clear that we have to look for a shorting opportunities, that when we go to the, or when we shift into the bookmap chart, we can look for, one thing is that we can look for the breaks of swing lows, point one, or we can also look for the pullbacks and absorptions. So don't worry, I will explain the absorptions in the next slides. When we see the absorptions, and again if the price is continuing in the downward direction, we can also look for the shorting opportunities. All right, so if it is clear to you, then we will move on to the third step, which is entry and exit. Before that, let's also look into the bank nifty concept. What is happening in terms of the bank nifty is also almost similar to the nifty. Okay, so if you just look at the broader picture, market is trending in the upward direction, but at the present moment, comparing to the nifty we can clearly sense, or we can clearly see immediately that there was a correction trend going on in terms of the overall immediate short term bearish movement. But here we can clearly see that at the present moment, okay, so let me add that point here. See, always market moves in a different phases. Okay, so let's say if the market is making higher highs and higher lows, then we can call it as a trending phase, and in the same trend there will be a consolidations. Okay, so something like this consolidation, and after that market continues in the upward direction. That's how the healthy trend will be. If it is not happening, if it is breaking this particular level, and there is also possibility of an entire trend reversal as well. So at the present moment, we can see until this point, market was trending in the upward direction, and after that it went into the choppy mode. So this is where we are seeing the range, or in terms of the market profile concept, we will call it as a, what do you say, like a bracket. All right. So this level, this box, so let me mark. This entire box is going to play the critical role. So until when, okay, so for bank nifty concept, in terms of the bank nifty, there is not much of a room even for shorting. Okay, so there is a lesser room comparing to the nifty, and we can look for a long opportunities. This is a very important point. We can look for a long opportunities when price approaches to this zone. Okay, so this entire zone, I mean to say. There is a different context when it comes to the bank nifty. How we are saying this? Basically, we have identified the immediate short-term trend in terms of the bank nifty as a sideways trend. So unless price sustains within this range, we can look for buying low when the price approaches to lower bracket, and we can look for shorting at the higher level. This is exactly what the strategy when it comes to bank nifty. So once this is done, we are going to monitor the overall price action in the Bookmap chart, and we can look for trade opportunities in the Bookmap chart. All right, so let's just a moment. So I hope this is clear. If you have any particular questions, you can leave the questions in chat option, so you can interact with me in the chat. Any questions so far? All right, just a moment. Yeah, now we are looking into the Bookmap chart. Okay, so if any beginners are there, so don't get confused with the overall information, so I will simplify it for you. Just a moment. Let me disable all the indicators, and then I will show you one by one. Okay. Okay, so at the bare price level, okay, we have two lines over here. Okay, so if I zoom in a bit, you will be able to see that there is a red line and there is a green line. In simple words, it's nothing but the best bid and best offer at that particular price level. So the entire Bookmap software, what it does is that it stores the historical data of best bid and best offer. It is not an executed price. It is basically a best bid and best offer. If the best bid and best offers both are decreasing, that means there is a supply in the market. If it is increasing, there is a demand in the market. And I will also add up the point over here is that the volume dots. So this is where we will see the further information in terms of the execution of the orders. So far, it was not an execution of the orders. It was a passive orders. Passive orders change. And of course, the execution also goes hand in hand. You can see the volume dots is where the real execution happened. So software calculates the ultimate, like, whenever there is an execution, whenever someone places a market orders, and it will be calculated as a executed order. And once that is done, that will be considered in terms of the dots. And most importantly, there is a color difference. As you can see, there is a green dot and there is a red dot. So that means the green dot indicates an executed order, but the buy market executed order. So someone placed a market buy orders at this price level. That's why it is identified. The software identified it as a green color. And similarly, if it is in a red, then it is a market sell orders. So if this is clear to you, then there is a one more relative difference that you can notice, that some bubbles are bigger, some bubbles are lower. Even though, for example, let's say this particular bubble is bigger comparing to this. That means in both the situation, here also someone placed a market buy order and here also someone placed a market buy orders. But when it comes to the number of transactions, number of orders, the number of orders were more here comparing to this particular level. So we can clearly differentiate the relatively we can differentiate the overall size of the order, at the same time behavior of the order. Okay, so let me give you the context. For example, let's say there is a, okay, assume that this has a resistance. Okay, listen to me carefully. When price approaches to this level, okay, either two things can happen. It can break this level and it can continue in the upward direction, point one, or it can take a false break and again it can move in the opposite direction. So any particular momentum in the price either can happen from a breakout or the false breakout. Okay, so when price approaches to this level, assume someone is aggressively buying here and we are seeing a bigger bubble. Okay, bigger bubble comparing to all the bubbles in the other areas. Okay, so that means someone is aggressively buying over here, and the next immediate question is, what will be the follow up of the price? Assume that the price is following up and it is continuing in the upward direction and price is sustaining. That means someone entered aggressively over here, was more confident enough, and he is also convinced that the price is going to stay at the higher level and we can look for the long opportunities. Point one. By any chance, okay, so the same situation, there is a bigger bubble of this green bubble, and after that the market is reversing in the opposite direction. That means someone bought aggressively at this particular level, but price is moving in the opposite direction. That means the buyers, the market buyers who entered at this price level is getting trapped. So we are concluding here, or we are including both the volume behavior and also the price follow up. So both will give us the idea that at the present moment, what is the situation that is taking place, whether it is what kind of volumes are getting placed, and similarly what will be the follow up of the price. With respect to that, we can identify the entire context of the market. If this is clear to you, let's move on to the next wonderful indicator that is offered in the Bookmap Pro version, which is, so at the present moment we have discussed about the volume dots, and then we have something called as absorption indicator. So this is one of the powerful indicator offered by Bookmap, so which is nothing but, okay, so if you go to the absorption indicator setting within 2.5 seconds, so this is what the condition is. This is what the condition that software looks for. Within 2.5 seconds at a single price level, 5,421 quantities got executed. So that's huge. That's what the calculation is all about. There are two ways you can calculate the absorption. So basically you can disable the automatic mode. You can see here. Once you disable it, you can manually adjust. You can manually adjust the overall number here. For example, let's say the maximum number of orders allowed in one particular order for Nifty is 5,000, right? That's what I want to enter here. So whenever there is a 5,000 order quantity is executed within 2.5 seconds, this particular condition will trigger. That's what we are seeing here. And the software will identify it as an absorption. As you can see, at the present moment itself, there was 10,250 quantities entered in the market as a market buy orders within 2.5 seconds. That's why the software is indicating it as an absorption. Okay. And that means someone is aggressively selling over here. All right. So someone is aggressively selling, but at the same time, within that short period of time, someone has aggressively consumed those orders. For any particular order to get executed, right? So for any market orders to be executed, there has to be the opposite passive order or a limit order. That's what it indicates. In simple words, whenever there is an absorption, the possibility of immediate reversals will be quite high. For example, let's say price moves in. For example, we know that market moves in this kind of pattern, right? Lower lows and lower highs. This is an example. When we see possibility of getting the absorptions at this particular levels are quite high. That's exactly why we are going to use the absorption. So in simple words, we know that primarily market is moving in the, we are looking for shorting opportunities. So what we can look for is that we can look for an absorptions, buyers absorptions when price reverses. For example, in this case, assume that market is here, and if it takes a immediate counter trend and there is an absorption. Okay, so absorptions of buyers. And again, if the price is moving in the downward direction, we can look for the shorting opportunities at the swing low. Okay, so this absorption point will add up the convincing point for us in the entire decision making process. So that's why we can use the absorption indicator. Or one more setting is that you can also enable the automatic mode. So what software does is smartly it looks for last 30 minutes of volume transactions and it takes the average of it and then it multiplies by the SD multiplier that you have set here. So presently I am setting it at 5. So you can increase it. If you increase it, the number of signals will be reduced. So if you decrease it, number of signals will be more. So at the present moment, I found the 4 or 5 will be the sweet spot for the setting of automatic mode of SD multiplier. All right. So this is the setting and remaining all the appearance settings so that you can change according to your need. I hope this is clear to you. Once this is clear to you, okay. So absorption indicator and the overall context that you have placed in the initial discussions. Once that is clear to you, then you can look for the shorting opportunities when there is a absorption. So for example, let's say assume, okay, this is a hypothetical example. You were looking for a shorting opportunities, price approach to VWAP level and immediately we saw the absorption over here. That is a kind of a caution or a kind of a confirmation for us to look for other trade opportunities. What we can do, we can simply look for the break of last swing low when followed by the absorption. That's very important. So once we are in the trade, once we have taken the trade, immediately we can place a stop loss above the absorption level. That's how we can use the absorptions. All right. And similarly, whenever there is an absorptions opposite to us, so this is where we are seeing a buying absorptions, and after that immediately there was a selling absorption. Sorry, the buying absorption, that means a seller entry. And the break of last swing low, again this can be a condition for us to move our stop loss from initial stop loss to next stop loss. So with this sense, absorptions can be used either for entry or we can also use it for trailing stop loss. All right. This is how we can use the absorption indicator. And there is one more wonderful tool called point of control. So if you go to the session wise volume profile over here, okay, follow my cursor, click right on it, go to the configure column and show point of control on chart. The moment I does that, so there is a line that is showing here. All right. So initially it was here and after that it is moving in the downward direction. What it simply means that where the maximum number of transactions are taking place at the present moment. So it is a dynamic point of control based on the volume. So this is a critical information for any particular intraday trader because it shows, like for example, even though price, okay, so assume that is a hypothetical example. Assume that the point of control over here, over here, and the price is presently trading here, okay. And you know that as per your overall context or the framework, you are looking for a shorting opportunities and presently price is trading at the day high. All right. So at that point of time, you can immediately short the market based on the formations. Okay. So I will come to that point later. You can look for a shorting opportunities by targeting the point of control immediately. That's basically the main reversal trade. This is one of the way we can look for trading opportunities. And one more important point is that the point of control will help us to identify the immediate trend in the market. So in simple words, point of control help us to understand or identify the acceptance of the market. One is that the movement of the market, but acceptance of the market is where the point of control will help us to identify it. So for example, let's say initial point of control was here. That means even though price was trading below, more of the number of transactions were happening at the higher level. But after that, you can see at this point of time, there was a downshift in the entire point of control. That means the number of transactions, the maximum number of transactions level is reducing consistently. So that again adds up to our framework that the presently in terms of the short term immediate trend, in terms of the point of control, also it is trending in the downward direction. All right. So this will help us to identify the trend in one sense, and also it will help us to, when we are taking a mean reversal trade, we can use the point of control as a target. All right. So this is one of the indicator to identify the immediate short-term trend by just using the bookmap chart. And we have something called as cumulative delta over here. The bottom line, something looks like a RSI. which is nothing but the cumulative value of the delta. So now you can ask, what is delta? Delta means, in simple words, as I said, the market buy orders. There will be a market buy orders, there will be a market sell orders in the market. So assume that some price level, okay, some X price level, we have a 10 number of market buy orders and 5 number of market sell orders at the same price level. That means the market buy orders minus market sell orders is equal to 5. The final result comes to 5, though this is nothing but the delta. Okay. So for next price level, assume that the delta is 10. Okay. So this is a hypothetical example. The immediate delta, the last delta. If you sum up the both, so it will come to 15. So this is the cumulative delta. So this, if the cumulative delta is increasing, that means the aggressiveness in the buying activity is increasing. And similarly, if the cumulative delta is decreasing, that means there is an aggressive selling activity, and consistently it is consistently the aggressive selling activity is increasing. All right. So market is moving in the upward direction, and similarly cumulative delta is also moving in the upward direction, is the point where we can look for, like, we can identify at that point of time the aggressiveness in the entire uptrend is also high. The conviction of these buyers are high. If it is in the reverse, for example, let's say market is moving in the downward direction, market has made the lower lows, but in terms of the cumulative delta, it is making kind of convergence in opposite direction. Then the selling activity that happened in the last swing is, the conviction of those sellers are little lesser, and we can expect the immediate reversal as well. So similar to like RSI divergence, similarly in this particular case we have the divergence of cumulative delta. So we can also look for trading opportunities using that information. Okay. So once this is clear to you, then all it takes us to align all the information that we have discussed so far and take an effective decision. So I'm just going to use absorption, and I'm going to use the cumulative delta information, point of control information. That's it. So with respect to that, at the present moment, we can look for the reversal to the VWAP. This is the white line. The white line is nothing but the VWAP. And if there is an absorption, okay, listen to me carefully. If there is an absorption and the price is moving downward direction, we can look for shorting opportunities of last swing lows. Okay. So for example, something like this. Okay. Market approach to this level, and this is where we have the last swing, and we saw the absorption over here, and we can look for the shorting opportunities of the break of last swing. So this will be our entry point. Okay. When we can exit. So basically, as I said, in terms of the Nifty, in terms of the Nifty, we can target 18,565. In terms of the Bank Nifty, we are not looking for a shorting opportunities. Instead, we are looking for a buying opportunities at the lower levels. Okay. So we can target this particular level, and where we can keep our stop loss. So as I said, when there is a pattern, right? So when there is a pattern, we can immediately place our stop loss just above the absorption level. So we can either exit at the target, or we can look for absorptions opposite to our trade, and we can keep our stop loss trailing until when there is a trend persistence till the end of the trend. I hope this is clear. If you have any particular questions, please feel free to ask in the chat option. Just a moment. So if you at all want to align with a major trend, okay, so in both Nifty and Bank Nifty, the majorly market is trending in the upward direction on a broader picture. So long opportunities can be identified in the Bank Nifty, and shorting opportunities can be identified in Nifty. So there is much of a room in terms of the Nifty. Sorry. I hope this is clear. A moment. If you have any particular questions with respect to today's discussion, feel free to ask in the chat option. Let's check out the Bank Nifty once. If it is clear to you, then we can move on to the footprint chart, which is very recently introduced by Bookmap. See the kind of pattern that we were looking for. So price is approaching to VWAP and we are seeing more of a aggressive buying activity and also the absorption, buying absorptions by 2175 quantities is getting executed or is getting consumed, the buy market orders. So let's see what happens with respect to Bank Nifty, but more of the opportunities is presently at the Nifty when it comes to the shorting opportunity. All right. And one more tool I want to discuss at the present moment. Assume that you are looking for 15-minute information. Okay, so at the present moment, assume that this is a 30-minute. Okay, let me shift back to 15-minute chart. Yeah. So when we just see the candle, okay, when we just look at the candle, we will be able to see the open, high, low, close, just the 2D information of it. But when you just look into the volume behavior and volume information within the candlestick, okay, so how we can see that in the same thing. Okay, let me disable everything. Okay, absorption indicator, and let me have that, no problem, and I will disable the point of control. Okay, point of control, and in this, if I add the footprint, okay, footprint. So there are so many settings. I request you to watch our previous session on footprint charts. So I have explained the very basic part over there. So in terms of that, in a simple sense, we are looking for, let's say that was a 15-minute chart, footprint bar type, time interval. Okay, so that means we're looking for a time interval, specific time interval similar to like candlestick. But footprint interval, I'm going to keep it as 15-minute. Why? Because I'm monitoring the price action in the 15-minute. Okay, so this is an example. If you are monitoring the price in 5-minute, you can change this to 5-minute. So width is nothing but the width of the bar that we are seeing over here, the bars that you are seeing now. So I'm going to look at the histogram plus and minus. So that means it will help us to identify the volume profile of the 15-minute candle, and also it will help us where the maximum number of activities are happening. And third important thing, what kind of behavior it was. So whether they were buyers, aggressive buyers or aggressive sellers. So let me zoom in a bit and show you. See at the present moment, all right. Just a moment. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So this was the initial 15-minute time overall information of the footprint chart. So footprint chart will help us to understand the price action of that particular specific interval in a clear manner. As I said, first thing is that it shows the volume profile. So this is the volume profile we have at individual price level. And most importantly, second important point, we will be able to identify where the maximum number of activities happen. So in the entire first 15-minute candle, we can clearly see that there was this is the price level. Okay, so this was the price level where we have seen the maximum number of activities. And next immediate thing that it help us whether it was a market buy orders or market sell orders. In this case, at this stage, there was a market sell orders placed around how many quantities? So if you just look into the number information, it will also help you to understand around 19,300 market sell orders got executed within the price level of 18,820 to 823 level. So obviously that is one of the critical level for the entire day. Okay, so that's also we can identify the locations using the, just a minute. So this entire range, all right, so this entire range is going to play the critical role for today's market. Why? Because in the initial hour itself, the first 15-minute and 30-minute is very critical. So this is where we have seen the aggressive selling orders, the maximum number of aggressive selling orders happened over here. And most importantly, price is still surviving within this, below this particular level. At any given point of time, if the price starts to accept above this particular price level, the first 30-minute or first 15-minute volume information, that is going to play the very critical role. And after that only we are seeing the market continuation in the downward direction. So if at all price sustains above this particular price level, then it's a caution, or it's an sign where we can be alert about our shorting opportunities, or we can also think of changing our concept to look for the long opportunities. That's how also we can use this particular information. Point one. So in simple words, it will help us to identify the profile of the entire time interval that we have selected. And there are so many ways you can calculate. At the present moment, I have selected this time interval basis, and you can also do this by reversal, range, by simply giving the tick data. You can look for range information. But in simple sense, it makes sense for us to look for a time interval footprint charts. All right. So as we can see that at the present moment, okay, so just give me a moment. So it will help us to identify where the maximum number of activities happened, point one, and point two, what was the behavior of those number of transactions. So that is the key here. All right. So now price is approaching, in terms of the Nifty, price is presently approaching to VWAP. And at any given point of time, assume that it was a completion of 15 minutes, and we are seeing the profile, the maximum number of buying activities happening above the VWAP, but price is trading opposite to the overall that buying activity. Then obviously it is falling in line with our entire context, and we can look for shorting opportunities at that point as well. All right. So I hope that is clear. That's how we can use the footprint charts. Any questions with respect to this, feel free to ask in the comment section, and let's try to monitor the overall price action, what exactly is going to happen. Right. The classic condition, if you at all the condition that you are looking for a shorting opportunities, then obviously the entry trigger was somewhere here. The break of this level was the selling opportunity. All right, this is where we had the initial shorting opportunity, and this is where we can keep our stop loss. All right, and as in when at the present moment, you can see, I will also show you that point. Okay, so until this point, okay, so we were trailing our stop loss. Initially our stop loss was somewhere here after break of this particular point, and this is where we moved our stop loss when the price breaks this last low by having the absorptions over here. Let me disable this and show you. Okay, so in this case, we assume that we have moved our stop loss to this particular price level, and this is where our stop loss triggered. That means I think 1:2 trade. All right, 1:2 trades till this particular price level, but we are looking for a second opportunity at the present moment. Okay, Sparsh Kumar is asking in YouTube, sir, please help me to set up like your chart. Which chart are you looking? Are you looking for the footprint chart? Which chart? Okay, let me show you. Go to the absorption indicator, 2.5 seconds or maybe 2 seconds. Okay, and automatic mode, 30-minute 5 multiplier. So with that, you will be able to identify the absorptions in this fashion. And footprint charts, okay, so that's, I will show you the configuration setting that I have at the present moment. So if I just enable the footprint charts, I have enabled a time interval mode, and again I want to tell you this footprint interval right now it is at 15 minute. You can make it as 5 minute if you are observing the price action in the 5 minute. So I usually do it in 15 minute. You can do it in 5 minute as well based on your time interval. Okay, and horizontal small scaling, try to enable this. It will help you to smartly align this text size and everything according to your zoom in and zoom out actions. All right, And then we have use shades. So this is also one of the important settings. So it will help you to identify the difference between the color difference. Color wise there will be differences. Okay, so I'll keep it here and show you the differences. And similarly, most important thing is background type. There are so many ways by which you can calculate the footprint. At the present moment I'm keeping it as histogram, delta, plus and minus. So it will identify the overall volume and also the volume behavior. It will help us to identify the delta behavior of the overall volume. Like green and red color, it will identify market buy and sell orders, something like that. Positive color, negative color, based on your need you can set that. Use shades, I said that enable this. It will help you to identify the differences. Transparency, based on your need you can change this. If you disable the transparency, so there will be a little bit of transparency, and if you increase it you will be able to see it clearly. Okay, so this right alignment, left alignment is basically nothing but the left and right side of the volume profile, but I want to keep it as a default setting. I don't want to change anything. Footprint chart, footprint type, I have keep it as buy and sell order, so which will help us to identify the sell and buy differences. So that's why I want to monitor it in the buy and to sell. Or you can also look for some means overall it will help us to identify the number. So now you can see only numbers it is showing. At the present moment it will only show us the entire summation of the entire level. So I want to see both the information. That's why I want to keep it as buy into sell. Show text, so it's again based on your need. If you want to relatively compare, then no need of having the text. So just by looking at the volume profile information will itself help you to take the effective decisions. So it's up to you to keep the text information enabled or not. And maximum font size is 14. This is the default setting. I haven't changed anything. So this is I don't suggest you to suggest you not to change it. So this is the default setting. Is text right aligned? So if you just disable it, so basically it's nothing but the alignment of the text. Keep it as it is. So I haven't changed anything. But the last important setting, okay, this is an important setting in the footprint, which is tick multiplier. Okay, before this I want to show you, if you subscribe to any particular new instrument, okay, while subscribing it will ask you to input the tick size. So make sure that if you want to use the footprint charts, keep it as 1, tick size as 1. So provided that, again when we say 3, tick multiplier for Nifty, when I say 3, it is nothing but the price level that we want to monitor. For example, 18,000 to 18,003. Within that particular price range, it will look for the information of footprint. If I increase it, just notice the change. If I increase it and placed enter, you can see that we are seeing the bigger bars now. That means the same footprint chart information will now presently looking for the 5 point of differences in terms of calculation of the footprint chart. So this is again based on the visual appearance. So basically I found 3 as the standard multiplier for, it will help us to identify the locations. So this you can test and trial according to your need. I hope this is clear. For Bank Nifty, the footprint chart tick size, provided the 1 is tick size, I am keeping it as double of the Nifty because presently it is trading double of the Nifty. So that's why I want to double the tick multiplier. Right? I hope that is clear. Okay, please explain sweeps indicator. Okay, there is one more indicator called sweeps indicator. Okay, so let me enable it. But before that, just a moment, I want to show you here. If you visit the bookmap.rootdata.in, this is the pro version presently I'm using. This is the pro version. And we have many indicators over here. In that we have discussed about the cumulative volume delta, point of control, VWAP, and absorption indicator, footprint charts. All these are the different add-ons or the indicators that you get along with the pro version for MCX, NSE, equity, futures, CDS. Any data you can plot, and you can plot the information of all these order flow informations. And someone is asking a sweeps indicator. Okay, similar to absorption indicator, there is one more indicator called sweeps indicator. So this is little tricky to understand, but I will simplify it for you. So basically sweep means what? The immediate momentum, right? So immediate momentum will be identified by the sweeps indicator. It is almost similar to absorption indicator, but there is a major difference. In simple words, you can see this is the condition. Okay, so if I enable it, this is the condition that market looks for or the software looks for. Basically, if within 2.5 seconds or any, for example, 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds, the orders execution number of orders is 5191. I similar to the absorption indicator, I made it as automatic mode. But the main difference here is that the minimum price levels. Earlier, for absorption indicator, we were looking for the information or the condition for one specific price level. But for sweep indicator, we are looking for minimum of price two levels. That means minimum two levels, 18,001, 18,002. Within that also, if the number of orders that we have mentioned here exceeds, at that particular point of time, it will identify it as a sweep. So basically, absorption indicator is happening at one particular price level that shows our software identifies it as an absorption. So someone is passively buying or someone is passively selling. That's what the setting says. You can see passive seller color, passive buyer color. But similarly, when it goes to the sweep indicator, it looks for multiple price levels. So in that sense, it is not, for example, let's say if I increase the price levels instead of 2, if I increase it as 5, all right. So then it looks for the same condition, minimum 5 levels. So at least look for 5 particular minimum price level. So 5 points of price movement. So that's the basic difference. I want to keep it as 2. That's the basic setting. I don't want to change anything over there. And what we see in terms of the activity, absorption indicator will help us to identify the passive buying and passive selling activity, but sweeps indicator will help us to look at aggressive buying and aggressive selling activity. So you can use both both absorption and sweep indicators. Let me disable this and show you the difference. So you can use both the indicator at the same time. It will serve the same purpose, but some condition. Okay, so there will be some conditions where we can miss the absorptions, but we can look for we will be having a sweeps. Why? Because we are looking for multiple price levels. So if you enable the both the price, both the indicator, it will help you to identify. In most of the cases, you will not miss these particular swings if you identify both. All right, so the basic difference, okay, the absorption indicator will tell us or will help us to identify the passive activity in the market and our presence of limit order, we can say. The sweep indicator will help us to identify the market buying activity, market selling activity. So if both are happening at same the price level, there is no difference, there is no problem. But there will be a situations where we can miss in terms of the absorptions. There will be a miss of calculations, or the absorption indicator may not show up, but at that time we can, the possibility of getting the sweeps is quite high. If you enable both, so possibility of you not missing this swings, possible swings and possible swing highs and swing lows, decreases. That's what is the use case of it. So in most of the cases, I don't look for sweep indicator, but if I'm not looking the absorption, okay, so for example, let's say a market is taking a reversal over here, I just want to make sure that whether there is a sweep presence or not. If the absorption is not showing up, so I will enable the sweep and look for the information. If you enable the both, there is no problem in it. But just a moment. But have this in mind that whenever you are looking for a sweeps information, that it shows up the aggressive activity in the market or presence of market buying and market selling activities. And similarly, the absorption indicator will help us to identify, it will show us the passive presence of the activity. All right, so I hope that is clear. Any particular questions? If you have any particular questions, feel free to ask in the chat option. I'm live in YouTube and also the Discord. I'll be happy to answer the questions. But have the context in mind that at any point of time, we don't want price to survive above this particular price level in Nifty. At that point of time, we are going to look for long opportunities. So at the present moment, it is still below this particular price level. There is one more chance that price can approach to this level and it can take the reversal. Okay. So something like in terms of the book map, price approaches to this level, there will be an absorption, and after that, there will be a follow up. Okay, so presently moving in this way, and the break of last swing also can be the shorting opportunity. That's the last point we have. Okay, so but in terms of the bank nifty, it is very clear for us that we are looking for long opportunities. I think bank nifty is still looking stronger. So just a moment. No, it's still kind of choppy kind of movement in terms of the bank nifty is quite high, but nifty is decisive in terms of the downward momentum. It's still moving in the downward direction. And just a moment. Just give me a moment. Okay, Sparsh Kumar is saying, sir, not able to set resistance and support zones. You will not be able to do that. You have to set it manually. So this okay. So you have to go to the drawing tools, and rectangle. You can simply draw it. So you have to manually draw it. It's not automatically identified. Okay. So what we are looking for, so I want to recall today's information. So basically we have a framework where we go through three different stages, identifying the trend and identifying the locations, identifying the entry and exit points using it may be an absorption indicator, or it may be footprint charts, it may be a cumulative delta, all the information. But the most important thing is that you don't have to use all the information at the same time. All right. So you can use like 2 or 3 indicator, or 2 indicator will help you to identify the effective decisions. So since you are going through the specific process, right? So specific framework, possibility of you getting into some random trades is quite low. All right. And that's what the process we follow. And in this case, at the present moment for nifty, we're looking for a shorting opportunities when price approaches to VWAP, and followed by, for example, let's say this is how the price is moving, and we want to see some kind of aggressive buying activity and passive selling activity using the absorptions, and after that the break of last swing low can be the shorting opportunity. All right, just a moment. Okay, just a moment. And one more important information I forgot to mention. Bookmap India is offering a 50% offer on annual packages for both basic and pro version. December 5 to December 9th is the time band that you have to get this particular information. Right now, I think Urvashi have shared the link to get this offer. So you can click through that and you can get this particular offer. 50% offer is going on behalf of, I think it's a Black Friday deal or something like that. So you can check this out if you are interested. Okay, so just a moment. This is what the website link. All right. So this is presently shared. I think I request Urvashi to share this information in the YouTube as well. So you have 5 days left to get this particular offer. All right. For both annual plan in terms of the pro version. Presently, I'm using the pro version. So check this out. Okay, Sparsh Kumar is asking, but where to draw? Okay, so let me clear this and show you just a moment. So if I enable the footprint charts over here, okay, the first 15-minute information, I'm just looking for first 15-minute information, the zone of this volume, sorry, it's not horizontal line, rectangle, and you can see this is where we are seeing the more aggressive selling activity happen. So this is what the range, this is where the zone that we have, which we can monitor when price approaches to this particular price level. All right, I hope this is clear. I request Urvashi to share the link of that 50% offer in YouTube as well. Yeah, I think in Discord it is already shared. I hope this is clear. So at any given point of time, go through the framework. Framework will help you to identify in most of the cases. First thing is we don't look for random trades. We are looking for a trend and we're trying to align with the trend. That's very important. When we have the context or the entire framework in mind, then you can look for opportunities along with the or which fits in your context. That's very important. I hope this is clear. At any given point of time, if you have any particular questions, feel free to join the Bookmap India group in Discord. There will be a lot of discussions going on, and most importantly, if you don't want to miss any kind of learning, so try to attend these live sessions on every week. Monday at 10 a.m. we will conduct this live session, so that it will help you to identify, or it will help you to gain the knowledge, realistic knowledge of these indicators at the real market itself. So try to attend in every session so that you will gain a lot of knowledge with respect to the dynamics of market. All right, so that's it from my end. Thank you so much for your wonderful time. There is still more time left. If you have any particular questions, you can ask in the chat option. I'll be happy to answer. I'm monitoring both the YouTube and Discord as well. I hope Spurs Kumar question is clear. If you have any particular questions, feel free to ask in the chat option. Well, thank you so much for your wonderful time. The information that I've shared is for educational purpose only. It is not for any buy or sell recommendation. Use this information as a research purpose. Every single decision that you take in, especially in trading, are subject to market risk. So thank you so much, and see you in the next session. Until then, take care. Bye bye. Jai Hind.